Greetings. Today we are going to have a look at simple present tense. I'm sure that you all know how to construct simple present tense and how to use it, because it is probably the first verb tense that you might have learned during your grammar courses. But today we're going to do a very quick review. So let's start. You know that there are particular situations that you can use simple present tense. It has different functions, it has different usages. Now let's have a look at the first usage of simple present tense. As you can see, the first one is that you can use simple present tense when you want to talk about a general truth, when you want to talk about a research, when you want to talk about a general idea or a general context, you can use simple present tense. Let's have a look at the first example. The earth is round. So we all know that the earth is round. It is a fact. It's a truth. It's a reality. It is not a square, is it? So it's a truth about the earth, and it is always true. The next example, children that stay up late at night do not function well in the classroom. So here we use simple present tense because we are speaking about, for example, all of the students of the classroom. We are not speaking about a specific child. We are not speaking about a specific classroom. So it's a general context. You have done a research, and this is your observation, and now you are reporting what you have seen in your research. The second usage of simple present is when you want to talk about your daily habits or when you want to talk about your daily routine. When you want to talk about something that happens regularly, so you can use simple present tense. For example, the birds return to the lake every spring. So this is something that happens regularly for birds. Every year, every spring, they return to the lake. So when you want to talk about something that happens, for example, every day, every week, every year, every month, you can use simple present tense. The third usage uh, is that when you want to talk about the future time, when you want to talk about a fixed arrangement in the future, especially when you use a future time expression, you can use simple present tense. For example, the flight arrives at 10 o'clock. So it's a fixed arrangement and it will be done in the future. And you're talking about the future. You are referring to the future time. The last usage is for instructions. So you can use simple present tense when you want to give instructions, when you want to give a commentary, especially uh, I'm sure that you hear the live commentary on television, for example, for a football match. So you can use simple present for instructions, recipe, and commentary, or even a series of events. For example, mix red onions slices. So when you want to write a recipe, when you want to give instructions um, for how you can make a, for example, we can make a salad, you can use simple present tense. Well, what I want you to remember is that there are two types of verbs in English language. The first one is the action verbs. Action verbs are verbs referring to actions such as read, write, run, and sing. The second one is The state verbs. Sorry, the state verbs. The state verbs are verbs referring to opinions, sense perceptions, emotions, and position. For example, some people don't realize how dangerous mobile phones can be. In this sentence, realize is a state verb. It's really important to remember that we always use simple present tense with the state verbs, but these verbs can rarely occur in continuous forms. Let's see what the difference is when we use the state verbs with simple present and when we use them in continuous forms. The first example is the verb smell. When we say the room smells awful, it means that it is an involuntary action. I'm not smelling the room on purpose. It is not my will. But when I say I'm smelling the flower, it means that it is a voluntary action. I'm smelling the flower of my own volition. I want it, so I'm doing something. It's an action. The second example is the verb have. When I say, do you have a car? Have in this sentence is a state verb. Why? Because it refers to a position. But when I say I'm having a great time here, have in this sentence is an action verb. Why? Because I'm experiencing something. It is happening now. So it's an action verb in this sentence. The next one is the verb think. When I say, what do you think? It means that I want to know your opinion. But when I say, I'm thinking of changing jobs, it means that I'm doing something now. So the action of thinking is emphasized in this sentence. And the last example, your driving license appears to be out of date. Appear in this sentence is a state verb because it is a thinking verb. But when I say Nick is appearing in Hamlet tragedy, it means that he's doing something, he is acting, he's doing something now and it is happening now. So it's an action verb.